Hello, my name is Xonevant. Today is Tuesday, January the 14th, and this is your Daily Dose. Alright gamers, I got some quick news for you today. Straight from Microsoft, executive Phil Spencer says, and I quote, "Hardware-based gaming will live on at least for one more generation because bandwidth caps are clearly an issue," end quote. Now, for some of you, this is really good news, and for others, it's bad news, and then there's probably some of you guys out there who could care less. You know, you're 50-50. It doesn't matter if the industry goes digital or if it stays physical. For me personally, I am actually relieved. If you go back and watch some of my previous Daily Dose videos, you've heard me say time and time again that if the gaming industry goes all digital, if that's the only way that we can buy content, then I may just quit gaming altogether, and I meant it. So just hearing that, you know, we may have another 7 to 15 years before I personally have to make that decision is super refreshing for me. You know, I've been gaming my whole life, guys, and you know, to wake up and just suddenly not game would be extremely weird for me. Now look, I'm not going to rehash all of my reasons why I don't want the industry to go 100% digital. You guys have heard me talk about that time and time again on this channel. I will say this, that, you know, and I have kind of touched on this in previous Daily Doses, that the next 7, I guess now we can say the next 7 to 15 years, even though right there they're saying they're having bandwidth issues, right? We all know that that stuff will eventually get better, right? So it still falls on our shoulders to speak our voice by the way that we purchase video games. Now you guys know that I do buy digital games, right? I will buy digital games like I bought Rain this past year on PlayStation Network, but that's because there is no physical copy. You see what I'm saying? And in that regard, I think it's fine. What I am against is buying a $60 game digitally. You see what I mean? That's really what I'm all about, you know, the fight against, I guess, if you want to put it that way. So, you know, if you're on the side of the fence that says, look, I don't want this thing to go 100% digital, then the way that you spend your money the next 7 to 15 years will either contribute to that cause or negate that cause. You see what I mean? And that's just up to you as a gamer, right? Some of you guys don't care, so, you know, and if that's the case, then just buy whatever you want to buy whenever you want to buy it. You see what I mean? For me, I'm going to be watching what I spend my money on for the next 7 to 15 years. I'm going to be pumping as much money into the physical side of gaming, the gaming industry, that I possibly can. And I'm going to be keeping out as much money as I can from the digital side. You know, this is how we have to vote. So whatever you spend your money on in the next 7 to 15 years, you're either voting for digital distribution or you're voting against it. That's just the way that it works. Even if they were to come out tomorrow and solve this bandwidth issue, you know, technicality that they're facing right now, if they knew that the gaming industry, if they knew that the consumer base, us, was not ready to go all digital, they wouldn't go all digital, because their yachts and their boats and their houses and their kids' college funds and all that kind of stuff, and the stock market and their investors and all that stuff hinges on whether we're actually going to go along with them on this journey down in this new frontier. You see what I mean? It all hinges on us. So if we're not ready to go with them, they're not going to go. We saw that with, you know, the Xbox One. We said no, and they came out, switched everything around, and here we are today. We got the better end of that. Now I know a lot of people are going to disagree and say no, you know, we basically stifled the ability for Xbox to truly do what it wanted to do. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they still could have done it, but we still wouldn't have went along with them. See what I mean? They still could have, quote unquote, innovated all they wanted to, but they would have lost a lot of money in the process. And they would have probably had the worst, one of the worst, I'm not going to say the worst, but one of the worst console launches in gaming history had they decided to stick their guns. You see what I mean? We helped to control the outcome of our own gaming industry. That's the power that we have as consumers. So that's really what this commentary is about, is, you know which side of the fence you're on. And I'm not saying you're wrong if you're on the digital side of things. I'm not calling anybody out on this. I'm just saying realize which side of the fence you're actually on, and then the next 7 to 15 years, justify that side of the fence. You see what I mean? If you want the industry to go all digital, then you need to be consuming a lot of digital content. If you want it to stay physical, stay out of the digital market as much as you can. Only buy those digital titles that you cannot buy physical. You see what I mean? And that's gonna, that's the only thing we can do as a consumer base to sway the market, to sway the mind, to sway the gaming industry into becoming what we want it to be. I can't fight the gaming industry by myself. If the gaming industry wants to go all digital, then I'll just have to make the decision of whether I want to go with it or not. But in the meantime, I'm going to do everything in my power to get the word out about my feelings about the digital industry, and I'm going to vote with my dollars, and so should you guys. All right, that wraps it up for today's show. Make sure to check out yesterday's video if you missed it. And our YouTube spotlight shines on Rev3 Games, Cecil something. It's a show he does on his channel. And if you want to get a different take on digital distribution other than my own, then check out his video. He's actually for digital distribution. So if you want to get a different take on that, check him out. And then the sub of the day is on the screen as well. Links are on the screen and in the description. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And remember, if you even miss one dose,
call your doctor if your depression worsens or you have unusual changes in behavior. Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff muscles, and confusion to address a possible life-threatening condition. Or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent. In some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death. Other risks include decreases in white blood cells, which can be serious, dizziness upon standing, seizures, trouble swallowing, and impaired judgment or motor skills.